My people, I welcome you to a new week to expose the shenanigans and the illicit activities of Nigerian leaders that are not setting a good example for the forthcoming. It's happening in Nigeria again. Tinubu and the Senate House in shambles as Rufai Oseni of Arise News exposed some illicit activities known to no one. From the recent election concluded in some states in Nigeria, the judiciary had gone extra miles to affirm mostly APC as the winner. They are on the verge of changing Nigeria into one-party states. From Sokoto, the People's Choice is from PDP, while the involvement of the judiciary in turn out of their corrupt system change it to APC. My people, stay connected. Stay to the end of this video where you will see Rufai Oseni where he was exposing Tinubu, INEC and the judiciary. Please share this video to different social media platforms. If you cannot share it, please like it, give it a thumbs up so that YouTube will recommend it for us. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome back to Live TV show.
The home of crime scene.
It's happening in the street again.
The center of political news, celebrity gossip, religious gossip, and happiness in the society.
Join us, the voice of Africa.
Welcome you to Large Epoch TV show where we bring you political gist, celebrity and religious gossip. If this is your first time of tuning into this channel, please do well to click the red subscription button and don't forget to click the bell icon so that YouTube will notify you anytime we drop another trendy video. Rufai Oseni dropped a lot of bombshell in this video. Even Dr. Ladon Saliu, a political commentator, exposed a lot of illegal activities of Nigerian leaders, starting from the so-called president. Just so you know, it's not in the constitution that the president has the right to interfere in any state crisis in this country. With the way the country is going down in an economic crisis and the devaluation of Naira, President Bola Ahmed TINUBU did not say all these things to tackle well enough, but the only thing that comes to his mind was to go to Ondo State to go and clarify the political crisis that they are presently facing, which is not even in the constitution. There are so many things that he needs to face now. There are so many issues in the country that he needs to tackle, but President Bola Ahmed decided to ignore that and went to one of the states to tackle the political issue there. The number one reason why he went there to tackle the political issue there is just because of the forthcoming election that is coming in that state, so that they will be able to withhold their power in the state. But now in Ondo State is the APC party that is holding the power over there. So the main number one reason why he actually went there to clear the issue of the political party with the deputy governor of the state, with the main governor of the state, is just because he wants the power of APC to stand in the state, so that when the next election comes up, they will be able to have something to say and they will still remain in power. Most especially now, the people are suffering from being led by the leaders that isn't their choice. Isn't so funny that the judiciary hasn't brought any INEC personnel or officials to desk after a lot of evidences tendered in the courts in any of the states where elections were recently concluded. All we keep on getting at the end is one party is not the legal winner of the particular election, and this is seriously affecting the confidence of Nigeria in INEC body. Even with the much evidences tendered in the courts against INEC, none of the INEC judges out of all the courts brought forth justice. This actually shows a powerful hand of Bola Ahmed TINUBU working from the top. What do Nigerians expect when the general elections was rigged and the citizens never knew it was all along allocation of votes that took place, not the actual figures of votes counts were announced? Why is it that what happened during the 2023 election is actually playing out in each state's election in Nigeria? And if you should look at this process, according to Dr. Sali, he said, why is it that the judiciary are not having a chamber meeting with the INEC before declaring which party actually won the election? They should investigate some of the personnel they were actually handling the votes in some of the polling units in the state. Why is it that they just come out and just give a judgment based on pre-elections matters? It actually do not matter in when it comes to who and who did not vote and who rigged the election. They're actually talking about the issues the party are having, not what actually transpired during the election period. Instead of the judiciary pointing out a pre-election issues that actually brought about the change of power in each state. My people, stay close as you will hear what was said about INEC and judiciary. Will be back shortly.
A couple of points. Number one, it is obvious now in democracy that one of the most important voices you'll ever hear will be the court of public opinion. And that's why your voice, you watching me this morning, matters a great deal. Please do not allow anybody silence your voice. Speak out and be vocal about our democracy. Femi Falana has said rightly, a lot of reforms need to come in. Nobody, really puts the penalty on INEC in all of the shenanigans they've done as regards the elections. They always go scot-free. And hey, the courts definitely go ahead and indict other people, but INEC is never indicted. Look at what is happening across the three elections now. Anyway, the APC has been able to argue against it and say, oh, when they did it to us about 4 years ago in Zamfara State, we didn't say it was judiciocracy then. Why are you saying this now? But the further argument a lot of people will make is the role of INEC in all of this. Who nips INEC in the bud? We've seen what INEC did, even in the last Kogi elections. Nobody has been able to answer the question, how did people get those election sheets that they wrote results on even before the election were conducted? till today INEC is not giving us an answer. Just like INEC was not giving us an answer on the technical glitch that happened in the 2023 elections. I'll keep asking that question for the upton time. INEC never gives answers, plays the ostrich every time, puts his head in the sand, while we have a decadence in the electoral system. Part of the things we like to call for electoral reforms, Section 60, other sections, even transmission, because the case of transmission and use of IRF came up in the Zamfara case, and that's what the court is saying now. We have a discrepancy as regards INEC guidelines, and what are the laws? Those same guidelines, INEC came out to make the law in Kogi elections recently. There's a lot of discrepancy as regards the electoral process in the country. And that's why I want you to speak up today. Get the number of your lawmaker and call your lawmaker and tell them we need to do electoral reforms, because time is going. We're going to be in December. Next year, there's going to be a lot of talk about budgets and all of that. Probably before you know it, 1 year has gone, 2 years. At the end of the second year, lawmakers will not really look at you any longer. They're talking about electioneering and politicking. How can we nip all of this in the bud? Also, constitutional reforms. The need for independent candidature, that's another one we should look at. Diaspora voting, I know that's before the House now. Let's look for ways we can use the laws to shaping our electoral process. As regards the opposition speaking, Atiku Abubakar is talking about the fact that Nigeria's fast leading is the one-part seat. The only way that will not happen is the people rise up their voice and the political actors stand firm. Because you see, I've noticed the trend. After the election judgment, these same politicians, because always what is needed for them, some of them are already gravitating towards the same people they said they were worse than anything in the last election cycle. And that's why Nigeria never moves forward. And that's why you see that the country in the end becomes overtaken by cabals, just like President Muhammadu Buhari said in an interview that was aired yesterday night. They said, oh, he must admit that things could have been done a lot better. And you are wondering, just like the narrative you wrote in your back page, Dr. Batide, as regards, answering Nuhu Ribadu talking about bankruptcy. This same Nuhu Ribadu that was part of those that championed the Buhari candidature. A couple of people that served the Buhari government are serving in this government. Now we're talking bankruptcy. Nobody's answering questions. The problem with Nigeria is that people don't answer questions when you ask them. That's why I say the most important voice in this democracy will be the voice of you watching me this morning at the Court of Public Opinion. Don't stop talking.
Yes, well, first of all, let me just make a correction. I think Sokoto, which was won by the APC, was originally PDP. So the cable may need to edit that and rectify. Now, coming to your question, Charles, there is what appears to be, a palpable fear that the figures you quoted, by some in the opposition, that the political terrain, when you look at the governorship elections or the outcome or the judgments, we are kind of, there is this fear that we are surreptitiously sliding towards.
Yeah, but that's why we're trying to back it up with facts.
All right.
We're trying to see what the facts are rather than what the emotion is.
No, it's not so
or
much,
what the suspicion is.
Facts are sacrosanct, but reality is also must be taken into consideration, Charles. And it looks to some like there is this attitude of a by hook or crook means approach at using the instrumentality of the legal system to appropriate both Kano and Plateau, and including Zamfara, to the governorship list of the APC. So people raise these fears and concerns, not so much because there is anything so special about opposing APC or any other party for that matter, but because of the phantom feel, if you like, of the Presidential Election Tribunal judgments. From the Court of Appeal right to the Supreme Court, they tend to look at that mirror and say, well, is it what is going to transplant or obtain in these judgments? Are we going to lose, say, Plateau as PDP? Is NNPP going to lose Kano? And you begin to get worried also for Zamfara, because these are contentious states that we need to look at issues, in my opinion, beyond the issues of now. For the first time, let me walk back a bit and be fair to INEC. These states had results declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission,
and it gave victory to the NNPP in Kano,
to NNPP in Kano, to PDP in Plateau, and in Zamfara. Now, one would have expected that the courts will have a conversation, albeit in the chambers or else wherever, with the legal department of INEC. How did you come about allowing candidates to run without what you are now telling Nigerians, some people not belonging to one party or the other, and then in one case it is a pre-election matter, in another case it is justified. There has to be a broader conversation and understanding.
I think that's a very good
interface.
point. I think that's a very good point, Dr. Salihu. And what I find extraordinary about that is that the Electoral Act says that you must be a member of a political party and that you must be sponsored by a political party to run for office.
Yes.
But it didn't say how you prove who is a member. I mean, surely the NNPP can say who is a member of the party and who isn't.
Absolutely. Now,
so I find it extraordinary that the courts are deciding for the NNPP who should be a member and who shouldn't be.
That is the conundrum. That is the stalemate, so to say, intellectually. Now, when you look at, to me, as a citizen, the political parties have a right to change their candidates, for crying out loud, 24 hours to an election, because in most cases it is the party you are voting. You're not voting the individual.
Right.
You are,
although the individual is often the spur.
Is on the cards.
Yeah.
But then you
I mean, let's face it, people voted for Peter Obi because it was Peter Obi, not the Labour.
Not necessarily Labour. Okay, but when you look at the ballot boxes, what qualifies you and me and every other Nigerian to participate in an election process, by which I mean to vote, is that voter's card, the PVC. If you don't have the voter's card, you can't vote or be voted for. Now, if the people of, say, Zamfara and Plateau and Kano decided that we have voted candidates using our legal instrument of voting, no court in the land should rubbish such a selection, because it came from a legally binded position where somebody has his card. If you go without a card, they won't allow you near the
but you know, the thing about the law,
as in spite of its technicalities and justice, to me, should be unambiguous, and it should not be dispensed like cherry picking, using technicalities and jargons and slogans to bamboozle the layman into believing that the courts and only the courts can decide who gets elected and who gets defeated. I have a lot of respect for the judiciary, because it is supposed to be the last hope of the common man. I want to see in our judiciary a mechanism where the collective will of the people is upheld, is respected, and is made sacrosanct. You don't come and say in one fell swoop that everything that INEC did, everything that a party that has sponsored a candidate, has done is wrong. Okay, take for instance the issue of Zamfara. In Zamfara, we all saw it played out. The electoral officer of Maradun local government, one of the 3 local governments that they now said there will be an election or by-election, The electoral officer of that local government was kidnapped during the last gubernatorial election, brought into the government house in Gusau, and he was being literally forced to announce results that were cooked up. And he told the world he wasn't going to do that. The results that were announced by INEC and in Zamfara should stand. What you need in Zamfara right now, if you are going with anything outside restoration of security and tranquility and peace, whatever you're taking to Zamfara right now will not be practicable. If you take, for instance, one of the three local governments, the Birnin Magaji local government, is contiguous with Kauran Namoda. Both of them share common boundary with Katsina, where you have insurgents coming in and out. You cannot go outside the local government headquarters in Birnin Magaji more than 2 kilometers at any time of the day or night. Tell me, how practicable will you conduct an election in that kind of situation? Ditto for Bukuyum, or even as at 3 days ago, when I am told the Honorable Minister of State for Defense was in Gusau. Bandits spent almost 2 hours, 25-30 kilometers away in Kauran Namoda, taking people at will. So it is impossible. I want to see a judiciary that takes a holistic look in a manner that it should be helpful to assist politics and democracy to thrive in a country that is facing clear challenges. That is not to say you should sweep the issues of the law under the table. No, a governor has won, INEC has declared. Have a conversation with the Independent National Electoral Commission legal department and ask them, how did you come about this, so that let me be educated. Then the letters of the law will obtain in carrying out a judgment. If you get to Kano, quickly, Charles.
Very, very quickly.
In
We've
Kano,
got about a minute.
In Gama Ward, remember, in 2019 elections, Nigerians should remember this, that the present Gauna, the APC candidate, was actually arrested by the police alongside the deputy gubernatorial candidate Murtala Sulegaru. But because he was in office and issues of immunity, people looked the other way. And why were they arrested? Because they unleashed mayhem and violence in an electoral ward that ought to have been cancelled completely, and they wouldn't have been anywhere near power. So now the party is not PDP that has lost Kano. I mean, we've lost literally, but it is NNPP that is losing Kano. But fair.
Rufai Oseni says something. Why is it that INEC cannot be blamed for the shenanigans that happened at the cause of the election? Why do they keep on getting free? This is not right. We people need to come out and say something. This same INEC came with figures on it. Nobody is coming out to answer these questions. And not for once the court has questioned the capacity of INEC in the handling of the collation of votes. If the election were well conducted, why do we have constant involvement of judiciary in every election that took place in the country this year? We are talking about how the economy will grow. Bola Ahmed TINUBU sees his involvement in Ondo State's political crisis as a priority to economic downfall of the nation. I see this as a misplaced priority. He obviously do not have plans for this country. All he wanted was a taste of power, which he has already, but do not know what to do. Before President Bola Ahmed TINUBU emerged as the president of the country, people actually thought that he would be the one to take this country to the next level. They actually think that he's going to take the economy of the country out of the shambles that it was before. Maybe he's going to be better when it comes as the president of the country. But with what we've been seeing lately, what President Bola Ahmed TINUBU has actually been showcasing as the president of the country actually shows that he does not have anything in plan for the country before emerging as the president of the country. We can actually see the downfall of the economy even way back than the time of Buhari. You can actually see that when he got there, number one thing that came to his mind was to subsidy, then allocate huge amount of money for exotic cars for the Senate and the ministers. And he also allocated a huge amount for the post of first lady, which is not even constitutional. You can actually see that this country has President Bola Ahmed TINUBU has no plans for the country, and with the election that actually took place, I can actually say that what actually transpired during the 2023 election is what is actually influencing all the elections that is actually taking place in the country now. We can actually say that after INEC might have announced the winner of the election, unforeseen issues that will come up, and at the end of the day, the judiciary will now give the power to APC. Most of the elections that actually took place in some states where APC did not win, their election are being overturned now to the APC, and you can say that they want to actually turn this country into a country that is being ruled by a particular party. And what actually transpired in Ondo State when President Bola Ahmed TINUBU came there to resolve the issue of Ayedatiwa and Governor Aketi. Don't be surprised that it's just because of the forthcoming election that is coming to, that is going to happen in the states. That's the main reason why Bola TINUBU actually came there to resolve the issues there, because they know that if they should continue with the crisis presently, they won't have any say during the election. So that's the reason why he came, so that APC will still be retained in the country as far as the election is concerned. They are already planning ahead how to disrupt the election and how to allocate votes, just as they've done in other states. My people, feel free to drop your opinion at the comment section. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe to our channel, and do not forget to click the bell icon so that YouTube will notify you when we drop our next video. Bye for now.